Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today we are back on with the old Famicom systems. The other one that I said I had purchased has arrived, and actually the first one that I showed you was the less yellowed of the two. If you look at the second one really is, it's filthy. It really is unbelievably dirty, if you can see there. But it has arrived, and I thought I would get to testing these. Now, I've dug this is actually a TV out of my boat. It's here for repair at the moment. It's got a sound issue on it, but a virtue of it being a marine TV, it will receive NTSC, PAL, UHF, VHF, you name it, this thing will receive it, basically. Analog and digital, built-in DVD and all sorts of things. Anyway, yeah, so I'm using this because I'm going to just, what I'm trying to do is confirm that whether these actually work or not. And for now, I'm going to just use the RF signal coming out of them. Let's just take that back out of standby. So I've got a power supply. This is a Sega Master System power supply, which should be capable of working these okay, because it's 10 volts and it's like 1.2 amps or something like that, and I think these need 850 milliamps, so with no problem there. I've already tried the first one, which is this one, and I will show you what I am getting with it. I've got a couple of games. Now these are really cheap and nasty. They're like 200 games in one cartridges that I got from a seller in Indonesia. They are really cheap, nasty things. You can see they're blob on board, kind of chip on board things with a blob over them inside. But for testing and what have you, hopefully these should be okay. I will connect this first one up and I will show you what I'm getting so far, and then we'll get on to the next one. So we'll put some RF into it and we'll put some power into it. Now, as I've found out with these Famicoms, if you without a game in them, if you switch them on, they actually do nothing at all. You have to actually put a game in them, seemingly, for anything to happen. So we'll put this game in and we'll switch on. We'll see if it'll. Yeah, see, and this is all I'm getting on this one. Is basically I get a interference on the screen. Basically just a black screen, but it changes if I use the other game cartridge. I'll just show you now. Switch that back off. So basically, we know the TV is getting an RF signal on this. It's just there's probably a fault in this actual Famicom, which is fun. I mean, that's the reason we buy them broken, isn't it? So we can have some fun trying to repair them. So I put the other game in. If I switch this one on, just give the TV a minute to see if it realises it's got something in. Sometimes I have to do is just unhook the RF and plug it back in, and there we go. And as you see, it's actually a different colour, but it basically does the same thing. It's a very lousy RF signal as well, but it's at least hopefully it's like semi-working, this one. We'll put this one to one side for the moment, and we will go on to the really dirty one. So we'll switch this one off now. Just take the game back out, disconnect the RF and the power, and we'll just take this one to one side for now, and we will get on with the really dirty one. And this is absolutely filthy. It's not just yellowed, it's black with muck. It's I don't think the camera's quite sure quite how vile and horrible this one particularly is. I will plug it in again. RF. I haven't even untwisted the controllers on this one yet. It only came in a few days ago. But anyway, we'll put a game in. And this one, there's absolutely nothing. But that power switch doesn't feel like it's actually doing anything. So what I thought we would do is, we'll unplug this, is have a look inside this one and see if we can find out why that power switch there is not doing anything, and see whether this one is going to give the same symptoms as the other one, or whether this one's actually going to play for us. So, without further ado, let's get inside it. Take the screws out. It's refreshing to work on something I've not worked on before. You get a bit fed up of repairing the same systems over and over again. I'm having a bit of a rest from a few systems because I've been doing a few of them for people and they get a bit monotonous. So I said Famicom was quite a nice change. Last screw, and then we can get this open and have a good look at it. By the actual filth on this and the yellowing, it's actually not in bad condition at all. Even the the button there is in better condition than on the other one, and it still even has its little plug in there for the a light gun or something you can get that plugs into that. Anyway, let's open it up and let's have a look inside. There we go, that's the base off, and that's again, it's filthy in there. It's something rather ominous there. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, that black blob. We'll have to find out where that's come from. But yeah, we're in there. Let's have a look at this switch. Now it looks like the switch may have just failed completely because it seems to be in position. Let's get this board out and let's get in there and have a look at this switch. We may just take this out of the case and perhaps just try and bypass the switch and just see what the whether the console's going to fire up. It does look like it may just be a broken switch though. Let's get these out and then we can see. Lovely engineering in here. It's really well designed, I must say. I've not been in one of these before, so this is a learning curve. I've not secretly had a peek inside it before I started filming. But all I did was get the other one to tune into the TV. Noticed that this one had an iffy power switch and thought I'll get the camera out. Let's take these off. I presume you have to take these off to get it out. Okay, let's have a look. Ah, there we go. Let's I don't know if you can see that, it really is rather filthy. It is very yuck. Yeah, it really is dirty this, but underneath that it doesn't look too bad. Let's have a look at this this switch which is causing us all the problems. Well, it's going to be easy enough to bypass anyway, just to test whether this system works. We'll take the switch out and have a quick look at it. In fact, what I think we will do is we'll strip this entire Famicom out of its case, and I may have a go at seeing if I can get some of the muck and grime off this case, because it is horrible to even touch and work on. It really is that grotty. So let's get these joystick controller cables out of there as well, like that. We've got the switch out, and let's take that out of the way. I'll put that out to one side for now. In fact, I think we can let's untangle this lot so we know which controller is which. Oh, it's rather nicely marked on the board actually. Good Nintendo, good old Nintendo. So let's get them out of the way. Let's get the base out of the way. And get some of the crud off my desk. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. Right, so there we go. there's the switch, and as you can see, it's lost its little ball bearing basically. Usually these have a little ball bearing inside them that clicks them over, so I will have to probably find a replacement for that switch. But for now, for testing this thing, what we will do is we'll just get the older soldering iron. We will just heat that up there, get that switch off there. Come on, out you come. There we are. On that side. There we are. We will short them together, heat them up with the soldering iron so they're soldered together, just like that. And what we can do is we can use the switch for the power supply just to switch it off and on. So let's give that a try. We will get the RF back in like that. We will get the power back in, switch the monitor back on. Now we should be in that way like that. Oops. I'll try not to snap the board in two while we fit that, and I think now it's time to switch on and see whether it actually does anything. So let's see if we get any more life out of this one. We don't seem to be getting anything there. Let's try that little trick with the RF. Although we may have to try and retune this one in, being that it might be on slightly different frequency than the other Famicom. It's on the right. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. It's getting absorbently hot. Well, it shouldn't expect it to yet anyway. So no, nothing there. Let's try and tune it in, see if this will tune in. I think the controls are on this side here. Stupidly I left the remote for this on the boat, so we'll have to, we'll have to fiddle about a little bit. Come on. Let's try to remember which button does what. That's it. Manual search, I think that should do us. And there we go, it's just having a search, and we'll see if we can find this Famicom on there. It may take some time. This, in fact, I'll pause the video and I will come back to this if we can get the thing to lock on. Right, I'm back, and haha. Well, this is one of these instances where I should really practice what I preach, and whenever you start having something where you think perhaps there's something not quite right, first thing you should do is grab your multimeter and start testing voltages. And if I'd done that straight away, I would have found out that I had no 5 volts. I checked, basically I found the ground, and I tested, and I found out I had no 5 volts going to any of the ICs. A good one to test is like a RAM IC there, because you can usually find 5 volts at one of the corners. But no 5 volts. So I started pulling the RF shielding off around here, because I was wondering whether there was perhaps a dry joint on the DC connector there. And I found, I don't know if you can spot this on the camera there, we have a tiny little fuse there. And when I take the multi-tester, set that to continuity test, I don't know if you can hear that. If we go across the fuse, absolutely nothing. Now it's a 1.5 amp fuse. I don't have any tiny little 1.5 amp fuses like that. So what I've done for testing is I've took a normal 1.5 amp fuse. I've just soldered a couple of wires to it. So what we will do is we'll pop that fuse out, we'll solder that across, and we will continue with our testing. So let's get this old fuse out. It's a slightly unusual fuse. I haven't come across one like this before. Come on, lift up. This is going to be awkward. In fact, what I might do, just to save... In fact, the fuse is blown, isn't it? So what we can do is we can just tack this across the blown fuse. So this is just for testing, and you wouldn't leave it like this, but for testing purposes it will be fine. So we'll solder that there. Take the other one. So far this has got 2 faults. We've got a bad switch on it, and we have a blown fuse, which doesn't bode well. I'm hoping no one's tried to plug the wrong power supply up it and done even more damage. So let's just test that with the continuity again. So if we go across the fuse now, there we go. We now have continuity. So we'll flip that back over. We'll get the meter out of the way. Plug the RF back in. Make sure the power's off to the power. Plug the power back in. Put the game in. Switch the TV back on. And let's see if we get anything this time. We'll just let the TV come on. Okay, and then switch on there, and no. This one is seemingly as dead as the proverbial dodo. Let's get the old multimeter out. Now we have replaced that fuse. We will see if we've got any voltages anywhere where we should have them. So again, let's see here. Oops. Let's get a good ground. Let's see what we got for a ground. There we go. And let's have a look. Nothing there. 3.48 volts. That doesn't look good. That doesn't look good at all. Just make sure that is. Oh no, there we go. I was on the wrong pin. There we go. We've now got 5 volts, which we didn't have before. 5.05 volts. That's nice and happy. Let's try over here as well. Yeah, 5.04, 5.05 volts. So yeah, we have voltage now. We just don't seem to still have a signal off it, unfortunately. Yeah, that should be in the right position. We will give it one quick try, see if we can. Nothing's getting hot. That's just getting very slightly warm. That's tiny little bit warm there, still stone cold. Let's just try the other game in it first before we have a quick another retune. So let's try this one. No, we seem to be getting absolutely nothing there. We'll try tuning the telly again. See, we definitely know we do have the 5 volts there now anyway. So I mean that's more than we had before. Alright, let's see if we get anything. In fact, I will turn you back off, and like I say, I will come back when we see if we can pick anything up. Okay, well, I finally got through that. That has scanned the entire, basically the entire RF spectrum, and unfortunately, this is not showing any outputs on the RF whatsoever. Absolutely zero. Which is quite surprising. I was expecting to at least get something, just even if it was just a black screen on the RF, but like I said, absolutely nothing. One little bit of good news is I've actually repaired the switch. Well, I've got the switch working. I will probably still get a new switch for it. I think I've probably got some suitable switches kicking about somewhere. But while I was waiting for the TV to tune, I actually just took the switch apart. And it doesn't use a ball, this switch. It uses like a tiny little bent piece of wire inside it. And I basically just retensioned the wire a little bit, put it all back together, give it a clean inside, and it is actually reliably working now. It's just, it doesn't feel quite 100%, so I will put a new one on, but for the moment it is working for testing. And as you can see, we've got no signal there, because I've scanned it through all the possible TV frequencies. I don't know if you can see the meter there, but if I switch on and we go on the older CPU here, as you can see, we've got 5 volts there. Same with the PPU. If we test at the PPU, again we've got 5 volts there. I can do the same with the RAM. We've got 5 volts. The other RAM, 5 volts. So we've definitely got power to the board. We just don't seem to be getting anything out at all. I am tempted at this point to actually have a go with a composite mod on this. I'll knock a little circuit up and I'll see if I can get a composite video signal out of it, because all the chips are warming up, nothing's getting burning hot. I expect to see something coming out of it. Like I said, it seems to be absolutely dead. The other one, we're at least getting a rather fuzzy blank screen out of. We're not getting anything like that out of this one. I'm going to leave this video here for now, and I will be back with this in the next few days. Like I said, we will see if we can get something out of this one, or if not, we will perhaps at the moment use this as a donor and see if we can get at least one of these 2 Famicoms, possibly this one then, to actually work. That's all being that these games work. I mean, hopefully these games work. Unfortunately, I don't have a Famicom to test them on, so I'm just hoping, like I said, that these games are actually alright. I'm going to leave it at that anyway, so thanks for watching, and goodbye.